Hey guys and girls, Joshy here, BJ and Game Day back for another episode. You've got Joshy, you've got Brent and Bogan in the background. A few technical difficulties coming online tonight, but we're back. We're here for another week. Hampton, how'd you go last week, buddy?
Hey mate, how are we, ladies and gents? If there's any ladies out there actually tuned in, maybe Taylor. How you going, darling? Look, mate, 13.53 this week. It wasn't too bad. I think it was probably my best score of the year, which is good. Worst scorer was JSAF. Had to play him after Maddo was ruled out, so I'll take that. Teddy's captain. Had SJ, had Palmer and Bess. So no Smith, no Cookie, no Luciano. But yeah, take that jump. Just over 3,000 spots. I think it's the first time I've seen green arrows for a bit, mate. But back into the top fucking 10,000. Look out, mate. What about you?
Mate, couldn't quite crack the 1,300, 12.96. Look, similar story to a lot of people out there. I didn't necessarily get caught off guard by the Maddo drop, but I reversed changes just before that first game with BMOS getting a start. I didn't have to drop him, and it just sort of caused chaos for the rest of the weekend. I missed Maddo. I missed Billy Walters. I had him actually in my team as reserve, and so missed some points there. And, mate, I captained Angus Crichton. I was thinking Crichton might be up for a bit of a pod week, and I just didn't realise to be doing his MCL and getting out for sort of 3 or 4 weeks. So captain 1 week, traded out the next, mate. 12.96.
Bit stiff,
yeah.
bro.
Still managed to jump up about 500 spots, I think, just outside that top 5,000 for the moment. But, mate, we're running out of weeks. We're well and truly past halfway now, so I think 9 weeks to go. It's definitely time to move on up the ladder, mate. I think I actually had a look. I'm 1,020 odd points behind first now. Obviously, it's a long way there, and you're never going to catch that up when first place has got such a good team. But we'll need to find a few pods here or there, mate. That's for sure.
Yeah, mate. We talked about it before. It's getting to the point where teams are looking, by majority, pretty similar. So it's going to be harder to make up ground. It's probably just going to be a combination of those, 3, 4, 5 players that you got different, plus your captain choices to make up any ground you can. But see how you go. I think there's some good matchups coming up over the next month with different players. So I think there's a few options out there. And Bogan, mate, he's still flying this year, 13.49, sitting in the top, comfortably in the top 10,000 at the moment, mate. He's having a breakout year.
Mate, too much Supercoach for the potato to handle, mate. What's going on in the background there, buddy?
Oh, mate, I had the fucking stream set up for 3 hours ago, and just literally as we were about to go live, OBS decided to crash because it's a fucking prick of a program. So, yeah.
Know what they say? Good tradesman doesn't blame his tools, but
I'll blame
the
both you tools.
The big controversy, mate, you would have been up for probably a big, near 1,500 had you bloody realised Maddo was out and put Luciano in.
Yeah, I would have.
That must burn your piss, mate, but anyway.
Who'd you cop as AE?
It would have been, what's his name from St. George? Fui Mayar.
Oh, yeah. Could he get a solid 10 or 11?
10 points.
Yeah. I was similar. I had Osaka with 11, so yeah, that wasn't too much fun. But anyway, we move on. Mate, obviously we've got a few boys in the chat. You boys are going crazy in the chat. You've been waiting for forever, so we better say g'day to a few people out there. We've got the usual. We've got Benny there, Shano's there, Matty Ledbetter. I see he's just jumped on board. Jed Rose. Good to have all you guys back week in, week out. We'll keep the banter up this week. So. Boys, kicking off last week, and what a cracker of a game this was. I didn't give them any chance in hell, the Raiders. How they got over the Roosters 24-20, this was the game they really turned up for.
Yeah, mate, they did. Same here. I think everyone wrote them off probably. Ricky came out publicly and was filthy, for various reasons, and they managed to get a flight up there, and they showed up, didn't they? I think they traded blows for most of the game, but Canberra got the job done in the end and pretty impressive, I thought. Papali was huge. Supercoach-wise, he topped it with 82, scoring an awesome individual try there with a big bust up the middle. BMOS keeps continuing to produce for anyone that's got him. He's, 730K, Joshy? So pretty hard to get him in, but reaping anyone that got him in when he was, priced under 500k is absolutely loving it at the moment. Teddy was solid again, hit his break even at 950k. You could argue he didn't do a great deal and still scored 77. Ikavalu's still doing it, mate. And but the Raiders just impressive up the middle. I think that Starling looked really good. Come off the bench for them. Looks a lot like sort of Damien Cook. Gets out really quick. Creates lots of opportunities for him. So, it's a bit of a shake-up there.
Oh, mate, absolutely. And Papali, I think he came to blows with whoever it was a couple of times there. So good to see. Crichton it was. So good to see plenty of spirit amongst these two teams. Obviously, both teams, a lot of injuries there. So, over the next 9 weeks, they'll be looking to put together their teams as well as they can for a finals run, because what we've seen so far from both these teams, they'll be well and truly inside the 8. Mate, first game there on the the Friday.
Before, can I just say about that Raiders game, that try by Papali, what a wonderful fucking rugby league try, seeing a big man 25 metres out, steam over like a fucking freight train. No one was going to stop him. I thought it was fucking fantastic.
Yeah, and put the burners on.
You don't see too much from the big fellas anymore.
I thought the halves came were pretty good as well. Joshy and Georgie Williams and even Jackie White, and whilst he was pretty quiet Supercoach-wise, but maybe with Hodgson being out, it gives them the ability to sort of run the game a bit more from a Canberra perspective. Hodgson sort of always tends to play that role for them, I reckon, but you could see a different Raiders side over the next, the rest of the year, just because now it's on those two guys, and they looked really good. So, it could be a different dynamic for them.
Absolutely. You lose a calibre of the player of Josh Hodgson, but I understand, obviously, that changes that dynamic of the team, but you're right. You blokes like Jack White and George Williams, they've got to step up elsewhere, and it just puts more pressure on them. And we've seen probably in years, the last couple of years, Jack's really stood up under that pressure. George Williams done nothing but good things since he's got over here. Possibly not the superstar half that's going to really send waves back to England, but definitely Mr. Consistent, Bogues, definitely. So,
then we
footy there.
Jumped into the Friday, mate, where the Storm gave the Titans an absolute massive blue vein cigar.
Yep, so
42-6.
So from an upset to the predictable.
Yeah, absolutely, and it was all points for anyone that had a Melbourne player in their side. Munster was a big in for everyone. Obviously, Cam Smith, 136, mate. How good's he going?
Mate, he doesn't stop. I know a lot of people obviously talking about with the news today with Teamless Tuesday, Appy Coruscant. A lot of people are talking about bringing him in. How he's still going and at the rate that he is. Yeah, we say it week in, week out, mate. I think he will go down as probably, burn my tongue for saying it, but the game's greatest player. Even I'm going sort of beyond hooker these days anymore. He's just sort of impact on the game's just phenomenal.
Yeah, mate, absolutely. I mean, I'm a Newcastle tragic, and before Smith for me, it was always Johns. But I think what we're witnessing for achievements and just his effectiveness on the park, even at his age and the position that he plays, he's unfortunately, as much as it burns my piss to say it, he'll have to go down as the GOAT, I think. But yeah, Supercoach.
Bogues, just in the background before we go on, what's the group code? Have you got that handy? Do you know?
Not handy at the moment, but
it'll
be later on in the show.
Peter Caro, one of the boys in the chat, he's just asking Benny about joining the
Shane Foote. He's always backing us up.
I can guarantee you, Shano. I can guarantee you that's one number short, you bloody idiot. This Peter fella, he's going to go and try and join this group. No, the group doesn't exist.
Hold on.
Good on you, Shano.
218-667. Thanks, Shano. You were there. You were almost there.
Shano got halfway there. Same for his misses each time.
Smitty, 3 tries, assists, 7 with the boot, 36 tackles, Supercoach, and a whole heap of line break assists as well. He was in everything. He just continues to produce. I think he's had one score under 70 this season. I was having a little look earlier, so With the news Coruscant out, I think there's plenty of people looking at him. But, yeah, he had an absolute blinder. Munster, I think a lot of people brought him in this week. Obviously, playing the Titans, he produced the goods with a try. A line break there in the first half, and also a try assist, that big outside the ball over the top to Adokar, I think it was. Brandon Smith just looks like a bit of a beast in there. But, yeah, it was just points everywhere for those Melbourne boys. Obviously.
Starting front rower.
Big Mick Nelson. Smitty. Yeah, sorry, he was. So, and, yeah, for the Titans, the top scorer was Jai Arrow with 57, hasn't he? Fallen down to see their 462K. So it's a bit of a fall from grace, but not much to report for the old Titans, the poor buggers. So they're going to cop a few more of those this year, unfortunately for them.
Yeah, a little bit of a surprise, obviously. Arrow's form and, not so much his form, but the pricing, 460K. Another one there from the Storm, Kenny Bromwich. We spoke about him at the start of the year, maybe continuing on his good form from last year, and he's done nothing but that. I think he's down to about 370K now. So
2 guys priced at 600K to start the year, pretty much. So yeah, massive falls for them.
Yeah. And the main game on the Friday, mate. We saw the Eels.
Oh no.
Brisbane.
No.
West.
Well, I'm still drunk.
Tigers.
Oh, everyone's fucking drunk at the same time.
It was this game, I remember, because, I was sitting in the pub getting absolutely hammered watching this, and every 5 seconds you turn up. Broncos missed another tackle. Tigers score another try. This was just pathetic. Oh, I know we've been saying it week in, week out, but I didn't think they could get this bad, and they have.
Mate, it was massive.
Talk is today that they're reviewing Seabold at the end of the season. I reckon he's going to be lucky to make it. My understanding is he's been given the next 10 games, and they don't win. I think if he doesn't win half of them, he's gone at the end of the year. A few more of these drubbings like this, they're just going to fucking get rid of him, surely.
You can't get...
Or he's going to fall on his sword.
You can't keep getting 50 put on you. I was talking to one of the lads at work here today, actually, who's a local coach in sort of reserve grade level, and he's got a few connections. He's just saying a few of the lads who work up there in the actual Broncos system, so not so much players or anything like that, but they're all talking about how they've noticed the differences, and basically all your different your players have separated off into their little groups and really don't want nothing to do with each other. But as I say, whether there's any truth to that, but the culture seems to be gone.
Look, and to think they've lost, they were beaten by the Titans, they were beaten by, who was the other shit team? The Warriors knocked them off. So they've only beaten the Dogs, and the run only gets harder for them now. They actually start playing good teams, starting with Melbourne this week. So to cop the sausage like that against the Tigers, who were brilliant, to be fair. Luciano, mate, scored a double, couple of line breaks in there, plenty of tackle busts, plenty of tackles, 135. So, he's massive score for the year. I think, anyone that still had him, well done, because he was probably looking like a sell about a month ago, but a few people still had him, mate. But there was just points everywhere for the Tigers. Garner 100, Marshall 100, Walters. Plenty of people still had Walters. Harry Grant, massive once again, only playing about 65 minutes. Nofo, all these guys scoring tries, getting try assists. Absolutely massive points in this game for anyone with a Tigers player, basically.
Yeah, definitely. I think probably one of the examples though there in the Tigers team, Matty Eisenhuth. Definitely potential there to be a good Supercoach player, but a little bit of why you don't chase last week points. I think a couple of weeks ago they had a good game. A few people brought him in, but just that Tigers forward pack, there's a lot of rotation there. Always hard to get that dependency on the forward pack. But
I think someone like that as well, mate, when you got a forward that relies so heavily on the defensive stats, the base points, when you're winning 48-0, you're not doing much defending. And when you're scoring lots of tries, you're not doing all those, hit-ups out of your own end and all that heavy work. So, when you have guys like that, the workhorses in a team that does well, generally the points are going to suffer. Yeah, because they're not having to defend. They're not having to take the big truck ups, the hard stuff up the middle. Everyone's just having a good time. So I think he was probably a victim of that. But, it probably would have stung a few people given his price. But, it's a fair call.
Now, I just saw in the chat a few of the guys just asking for the peas and carrots update. I may as well get this out of the road early. We've had a couple of runs since last week's show. She ran on Friday out at Ipswich in one of the finals, so she won the heat. She was back $2.30 into $1.45 in the final, and ran a dismal fourth. And then she broke down yesterday, actually, up at Bundaberg. So she went around to Bundaberg yesterday, and she ran about 50 lengths the whole way. So she'll be put to the paddock for a month or two, and she'll be back probably towards the end of the footy season. So not good news there, but we'll move on from that. So, mate, yeah, look, the Broncos, not much to report, mate. Huss and Carrigan probably continue their good form. Pangai up there as well. They're really the only three players you want to talk about in the Broncos lately, aren't they?
Yeah, mate, I think so. Carrigan playing, like, at some point, I feel like you're going to have to get off him. You reckon he's a keeper till the end?
Absolutely.
He's just playing. If he's playing 60 minutes, his base output's just too big to. At the moment, you've got to have bigger problems, I think.
Well, I think what they talked about actually this week, a couple of interviews on local radio, Haas was talking about how he thinks his minutes game, or it might have even been in the Supercoach comments, his minutes are more that 60 to 65 this year rather than 80. He reckons just with how young his body is and that's probably the better point. And Carrigan looks like he's taken those minutes off him at that sort of 80 minutes. So, mate, yeah, we'll just wait and see with that one, but I definitely reckon Carrigan's a keeper.
Taking Haas's minutes?
Yeah.
Well, like, he's not much. Carrigan's not much older than bloody. Carrigan's only 21.
No. Oh, look, completely agree, but it may just be a timing thing. Obviously, Haas has been doing it for a couple of seasons now.
Yeah.
Whether they're just going to give Carrigan that chance to carry the torch.
Yeah, look, as long as they got these guys out, injuries, and, the forward pack's a bit depleted, I think he's still, not going to have to be a worry anytime soon, but maybe as they hit, next sort of 4 or 5 weeks, they might get a few troops back. They'll have to keep an eye on him. Yep.
What game do we have next on the Saturday? The 3 o'clock game.
Coach who's fucked to one who can
Dragons getting up over the Dogs. It was a bit of a funny one.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I actually watched this one. I was half awake after a big night Friday, but 22-10, the Doggies led with about 15 to go, and the Dragons managed 3 late tries to snatch it back. Poor Marcello Montoya putting down that ball right on full time for Corey Norman to streak away. But
how's the
Matty? Yeah,
how's the Falcon on McInnes?
Oh, how we didn't get HIA'd or knocked out.
That was a cracker.
Oh, I've seen a couple of those. I've been hit by one of them a long, long time ago, and not as full on like that either. That was middle stump. That was a snoz and all. That would have hurt like bloody heck. He's already got no teeth in the front. Poor bastard. He can't lose any more.
He's got nothing to lose, does he? It was a funny one. I wasn't that too worried about watching it, but I was following the updates, and the Dragons skipped away early. And then Bulldogs got it back, and I think, a few of the boys, we had a punters club going, and we had Dragons minus 9.5 on the line or something, I think, and we've got no chance here, and the fuckers have come back to win by 6. But for Talamana, it was big, mate. Scored a try for him with a line break there, so, bumped his score up a bit. Clune probably had his best game for the Dragons, looking at that, with a couple of try assists. Lomax, of relevance, with a try assist and a few goals there. He just keeps on producing. Probably one of the cheapest of the year, made over $250,000 now. So, mate, thoughts on McInnes? You're a McInnes owner now that he's moved to lock. No, you've dodged that.
No,
yeah, right.
I've had him in both my draft teams, but not in classic. Mate, it's sort of similar. I think we were just speaking off air. You grabbed him in, I guess, at that high price.
I think it was about 670, 680, so he was probably at his highest price.
Yeah, a little bit hard. Obviously, Benny Hunt playing the 9 there, and McInnes going to a purely lock role. And rather than playing 80, playing that sort of 60 to 65 minute, it's going to hurt. I mean, you look at his scores this week, 61. Last week was 60. Those 80s and 90s have gone by the wayside. So I can't say he's a sell, but he's a frustrating 60-pointer each week.
Well, the thing is, like, the first game he played Lockie, he played 68 minutes, but I think that was because the Dragons gave him a towel up. So I think McGregor's getting a rest. Last week he played 79 minutes on the weekend, and his base output's still good. Like, he's still 59 points in base on the weekend. It's just there's not much else to his game. So if he isn't getting a few tackle busts or he doesn't have an offload in his game, his points are going to be pretty limited to whatever his base output is. And if he concedes a couple of penalties or drops a couple of balls, if he gets 60, 65 in base, which is really good, but then gives away a couple of penalties or drops a ball, your 60, 65 quickly becomes like high 50s, which isn't looking great for someone that I ended up paying 670, 80K for. But probably got bigger problems. I have to write it out, but hopefully you just find something else, a few tackle busts or an offload every now and then.
Benny in the chat, RFM as a pod. Look, I'm going to say no, purely because we see he scored this week 76. I think last week he scored 80-odd. Both of those with a try. It just depends on what we see from the Dogs. Obviously, with Dean Pay gone, George Arliss taken over for now as the caretaker coach till the end of the year. Obviously, Barrett's been announced. If I'm Canterbury, I'm trying to find a way to get Harawira-Naera back in as quickly as possible. That said, I do know that they've got Sione Katoa and Wakeham on the bench this week, the Doggies, so possibly plays a high amount of minutes for Taylor Mariner again. But you're just not going to be guaranteed that try every week. So I think he's good for 60, which is not enough for a pod. But again, Hampton, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we're talking about obviously all the teams being the same. Maybe he is that pod that you need to jump up the leaderboard a bit.
Well, the only thing with CHN, I think he wants out now because of what happened with all the drama and the way he was treated. He doesn't want to borrow the Dogs. So there was probably some issues, maybe thinking what's going to happen here. But RFM's owned by only 1% of teams, so he is a massive pod. His base isn't always huge, so you do, like you said, he scores a couple tries. You need that from him. I just don't know if his ceiling is high enough. Like, with a try, he might score 70, 80, maybe 90 points. But I don't think like an Angus Crichton, maybe even like a Murray, he's going to have like a 120, 130 in him. I could be wrong. In a team like a Bulldogs team that lacks, plenty of attack, if Foran's out and all that, they may struggle. But, he's probably going to be their go-to all the time in his base. It isn't terrible, but I don't know, maybe...
Yeah, it's not the elite, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, possibly if you're looking for something different, but it's nothing unbelievable. Still pretty cheap, though, 530K, so definite pod.
Yep.
We jumped
5:30 game on Saturday.
Mate. We got home in the end. Suck it, Bogan.
Wow.
It was not awesome. The first half was great, I'll be honest. The first half and then the first 10 minutes after half time, I'm thinking, how good's this?
Forget that, mate. I loved the last 15 minutes. It was bedlam. I don't know where that South team was the whole match.
Yeah, no good cookie though, mate. 138. Any of the owners, 13% of people, whatever it was, had cookie, mate. Scored a double, set one up, plenty of tackles. Couple of line break assists, was in absolutely everything there. So I think there was plenty of people that had the duo of Smith and Cook, but Smith was massive. Best and Ponga, mate, bounced back. So anyone that was selling those guys over the last couple of weeks, as you always, buyer beware. But those boys have bounced back pretty big there with a 95 and a 92. Cam Murray was pretty big without any attacking stats, really. So Kurt Mann keeps producing as much as I think he stifles our attack with his hogging.
He's terrible.
Him and Lomax are probably going to be buyers of the year in the centre wing positions when it was like a tough sort of year to figure it out. Scored a try, got a line break with it, another 69. So anyone that started with him is absolutely reaping the rewards like if they did with Lomax.
I tell you what, I always thought Kurt Mann from when he was at the Drags, him and Matt Duffy were the same player. Like, just not so much, confuse them, but just the same style of player. This year, Kurt Mann has completely proven that wrong because he cannot pass, whereas Duffy can throw some pearlers. So as soon as he learns to pass, though, he's putting himself in the right positions, man. He just, I don't know. There's just that hesitancy there.
His base points for like a 5'8", a halfback. He's scoring like last month. He's scoring like mid-30s to 40 in base points alone. But he's been scoring tries he scored 4 of the last 5 games. He scored a try. So he's been massive, and running outside Ponga and that every now and then he's creating something as well. So as much as like he frustrates me in that Parramatta game, I wanted to throw me beer at the telly because he just was not passing the ball. But from a Supercoach perspective, he's awesome.
Yeah.
As much as he annoys me. So, but mate, we got it done in the end. It wasn't convincing. Ponga missed a few kicks at goal, which was a bit concerning. He only kicked 1 from 4. We could have been a bit more comfortable, but got there in the end. That'll do. The boys had a bit of a kiss at one point there, KP and Piercy, which is good to see.
Love him, been a man love.
But anyway, we'll take the 2 and move on the next week, mate.
Very good. 7:30 game on this Saturday night, and this is where we get to the Eels going down to Manly. Obviously, 22 points to 18. The Sea Eagles kicked away to a pretty convincing lead before a late comeback for the Eels, but just wasn't enough there. Michael Jennings, much like the Morris twins, very much turning back the clock. As you can see there, highlighted in green, he is in Bogan's team. He's got to be pot ownership. How much is the ownership of Jennings, Bogan?
I have no idea.
I'll tell you.
The teams that are highlighted, the question was actually
2%.
asked. It's actually my draft team.
2%.
So
in classic
draft.
I've got him in draft. But I don't have him in my classic team, fortunately.
There you go.
The big Marty Tapau, mate. He's scored a pie the first try of the game for the Eagles. So
2 minutes in, yeah.
A big points haul for him. He bottomed out a couple of weeks ago at 400k. So well done to anyone that jumped on Big Marty.
Shout out to Daly Cherry Evans because he obviously watches the show after you guys gave him shit last week. He's pulled his finger out and
he does nothing.
Mate, Regan Campbell-Gillard in the last, I don't know, it's weird. He's in the last month he's turned a corner. His minutes have been mixed. I think they've had the combination of injuries and all that, but he played 80. I know Brown got injured on the weekend again, old Brownie, but his base output's been absolutely massive the last month. Big Ted was a big fan in the draft. Got on him probably 6 to 8 weeks ago, I think it was, or something like that, maybe. I don't know if anyone can own him, but he's been absolutely massive in the last month.
Yeah, a little bit hard to obviously find a spot for him in Classic, but same thing, mate. Years gone past, he's sort of always been one I've left there because you could pick him up late in draft. You could, I guess, leave that front row position blank to fill elsewhere first. Because you knew you were sort of good for 50 or 60 points. And then he had that quiet season, I think it was with Penrith, where he just did nothing. But yeah, seems to have bounced back, which is good. Good to see his form kick back there because obviously at his top, he's definitely a representative player. He's got that mongrel about him and that go forward. So, definitely bouncing back. Mate, Brownie, what ended up happening to him? I only caught a glimpse of this game.
I think it was I don't know if it was a rib cartilage or it was something weird, innocuous. Like I don't think he's ruled out this week. I could be wrong there. I can't remember if he got. I think he's named again this week. It was something bizarre. Cork. It was a corked thigh.
Right.
So he couldn't really run it off, and they couldn't get him out of it. So he stayed off. I think once he cooled down, that was the end of it. So I think he came off after about half an hour or something like that. I only played 30-odd minutes, maybe 40 minutes. So,
yeah.
That would have sucked for anyone that got on him because there might have been a few people. And the funny thing with Brown is, as much as I said I was a fan, everyone's saying, watch out, he gets injured. He's injury prone, and funnily enough, he got injured. So that was no good for those people. Dylan Brown was pretty big, mate, in a beaten side. He actually spat out 53 points in base, which is massive for a 5'8". He was just running the ball all night.
Yeah, but I just love his work without the ball in defence. I mean, again, going away from Supercoach a little bit, but he tackles so good for a 6.
He's a great player.
But, he's definitely not afraid to take on the line. The next best thing coming along, so for sure.
Yeah, so no, like you got a line break, I think there, but no massive attacking stats. It still spit out 79. It's pretty big for him. Gutho produced again, so anyone that was on Gutho, he's jumped another 40k. A couple of try assists for Gutho, but Sivo burned a few people, mate.
Good.
25 points for Sivo, so those massive cash rises that everyone thought he was going to be on the end of after that 100 million thousand that he got a couple of weeks ago, he's now faced with a pretty big break even again.
He's rocks and diamonds this year, Sivo. It was Kenny Mamalo last year. It's Sivo this year.
So he would have hurt the 20% odd teams that had him. But yeah, massive win for the Eagles, mate. They held on in the end. Did you see the last try to Jennings by any chance? George Jennings?
No.
So have a look at it. I don't know why anyone didn't say it. But so it was 22-14. Jennings goes in the corner with, 20 seconds to go or something like this. And someone's come across with the knees. So the Eels have declined the kick at goal. But I was wondering why there was no 8-point try. I don't know if anyone else in the chat saw it, but I thought he led clean with the knees and they could have had a kick from the sideline. And then obviously with an 8-point try, you get the kick from the front. But I thought it was a 8-point try 101. Like, if this is an 8-point try, this is what it is. But never heard anything about it. I don't know. It could have been nothing, but I thought it was complete lead with the knees. And Jennings stayed down after it as well. But anyway. Suck shit, Parafans.
And Sunday footy, first game of the afternoon, and the Sharkies getting up over the Warriors. Look, can't really read too much into this after Cronulla getting absolutely belted by Penrith the week before. They come up against, well, you want to say they're the worst team in the comp, but the Broncos have definitely taken that trophy for now. The Warriors really not looking too interested on the footy field there. Jazz Tavanga, great return from him. We've seen that in the past, so once his fitness gets back up, he'll definitely be probably one of those pods to have a look at, coming with the season coming to a close. From a Sharks point of view, Sean Johnson, huge there. Really, really good game. Set up a couple of tries, scored one himself. And Sione Katoa, a little bit of a return to form for him as well.
Yeah, man, it was all Sharkies, obviously. So, watch out the Warriors this week against the... they're playing the Chooks, but Tavanga was interesting, mate. He didn't play a huge amount of minutes. He only played I had a look because he's on the radar now with Coro being out. You can pick him in that hooker position, but he only played not even 50 minutes, which will improve. You think that'll obviously improve as he gets a bit of batch fitness back. But he had some attacking stats in him, so he had about 20 points in. Those attacking sort of stats, which I don't know if he's going to get them every week. So his score was a little bit inflated, but his base was still pretty much a point a minute. So, but I think as soon as he starts to get, 55, 60 minutes, and I don't know if he'll play 80, but he'll be really relevant again. So he's probably not going to get that. We're probably all hoping that he might have got a 30-pointer again this week or something and had a massive break even for a bit of a price drop, but it looks like he might not probably drop too much.
What's his price?
He's 530k now. So he's 530k with he's in 0% of teams. He's in 185 teams. Where's his break even gone? Hang on, give me a sec.
He better start performing because I've had him in both my draft teams since week 1 and I've held on to him. So I'll be looking forward to him.
My potato's starting to fail me now.
I reckon he only scored sort of high 20s last week. Kendo in the chat saying he's got a high BE. I'd say he's probably got close to a 90 or 100 BE.
No, it wouldn't be that high, surely. Really?
What's your potato doing, mate?
Hang on. I've got 35 fucking windows open here. Where's his fucking break even gone? It's not there. What's going on here? I've been how's this, right? Hang on, here's my rant. That's not that bad. 80. If it's mid-80s, it's not too bad. I thought I got Supercoach Gold, right? And it's an auto renewal, so they roll you over and just take your money without you.
Take your $20, yeah.
And here I am clicking on just Tavara, and the break-even field is empty. What the fuck? Anyway,
Kieran
moving on.
just checked his BA's 83. So, all right,
So he could get that if he gets 60,
he
65
could probably
minutes.
get that actually. Yeah.
So he's not going to probably drop too much. So
Definite pod though, guys. Like if anyone's sort of looking for something at home, with regards to who you can jump on, definitely could look at him.
with Coro out this week, people might be looking to jump off him. There's a straight swap there, I reckon. And a massive pod in 185 teams, 0% at the moment. So. Moving on, I think that was Sharks everywhere. Sean Johnson kicked 1,000 goals.
Yeah. Enough said.
Let's move it on.
And final game, who do we have? Penrith and Cowboys.
Mate, this one was closer than I thought.
They put it up a fight, didn't they?
Ended up being a pretty good contest in the end.
Yeah.
I think the class of Penrith got them home.
I'm dirty. 10 seconds to go. So I played in the BJ Invitational League. I've played Lisa, the Tigress.
Yeah.
And she's Captain Cleary.
The junk time.
And with about 10 seconds to go, I'm 20 points up. I'm absolutely filthy. So he scores, which is great. I'm thinking, oh, you beauty. And then I realised, fuck, shit, he was captain. And she did me by about 15 points. So well done to Lisa. But, I wasn't too happy at the time.
Mate, how about it, though? I was tossing up Cleary, Munster all, that week. It was like, who do you go? Munster against the Titans, Cleary against the Cows. And it was looking like the right pick was Munster until he's done that little show and go, there's nothing doing. So, he scored the try, got the try assist, kicked a few goals in there, a couple of line breaks. He was in everything. So, the fish was massive as well, mate. Massive,
huge,
absolutely massive
huge.
Once again. So, do you have him still?
Yeah, still got him. He's doing his job. He had a couple of weeks there where he scored sort of mid-50s, and I was a little bit worried. But mate, he's got the engine where he can turn it on. So I'm expecting that sort of 75 plus average to finish out the year. Be a good pod.
And I think anyone in that Panthers backline now, they got a pretty good run. But Crichton was massive. Naden's looking good. Plenty of people jumped on Crichton and even Naden, and will continue to do so.
I thought Crichton looked a little bit injured, actually. Look, he got a bit of a junk try halfway through that second half. He somehow just walked over for it. He didn't really have to do too much, you know what I mean?
I think someone poked the nose through and he just went in behind. So he got a line break with that try, I think, which, was probably generous.
I was sort of glad because obviously I brought him in last week. But the 82, very, very generous for mine.
But I think Edwards went off and he jumped in at fullback for a little bit there. Yep. Obviously, with Edwards out again this week, he's still staying at centre. But, anyone, I think Mansour, he didn't have any massive attacking stats, still scored 64. Luai was massive. Kickout was, he's produced finally for anyone that's had him. And I reckon he's probably bottomed out with the Panthers having a decent run coming up.
What's he down to?
He's 434, 434K. With a 61 break even with the Titans this week.
He's on the list.
You couldn't. He's on the list.
He's on the list.
Every time you say someone's possibly viable, they go straight on your fucking list.
He's on the list. Oh, you talked about Jai Arrow bottoming out. Kenny Bron. They're not on the list. Kickout's on the fucking list.
Kickout? Oh, I'm tempted. With Coro out, I can get to him from McKinnis. It's silly, but when you ranked 8,000K, you can afford to take a few risks. So the Panthers run, I got Luai, I got Mansour, I got everyone else on the left edge apart from Crichton. But
actually, it's probably a little bit of a dangerous game for the Panthers. I know they're obviously playing, I think he's at the Titans, but they've got Appy out. They've got Dylan Edwards out, which obviously Caleb Aiken's played there earlier in the season. No Toto. Who else they lose off the wing there last week?
Vare's gone.
So, they're not massive outs, but you've got a young fella like Mitch Kenny coming in to play hooker. The service that they're going to get from dummy half's going to be nowhere near as crisp as what Appy can do. You obviously still expect them to win, but there could be a few ordinary scores this week from Titans, from Panthers players. Let's say they still won by 30 or 40, not a worry. But I'm just worried that it might be the different players this week that score the points.
Look, mate, I think they've still got enough class there. They should, but to be fair, they should have run away with this one and done it comfortably as well. So, the late Cleary try made it a little bit more flattering for them. But, now they're going to play the Titans with, as you said, a couple of those key guys out. I still think with, Cleary, Fisher Harris, kick out, they got all those guys in the outside backs. But, maybe in the middle is where they might be in trouble if they don't start well. But they didn't start well on the weekend and they, just got it done in the end. But, we'll see. We'll see. Probably a bit of value for the Titans there. But for the Cows, mate, it was Maguire. He was solid. The Hammer has produced that. He looks like he's a little bit of a roller coaster, old Hammer. So he scored a nice try there. That bloke that debuted, Artsy or whatever, Arzi, I don't know how you say his name. He was pretty good. Late inclusion there at 5'8". So obviously with the news during the week that Paul Green's moved on, it'll be interesting to see how they bounce back this week against Manly. But they're probably having a bit of a rough year this year, the Cows.
I think we're just going to see the merry-go-round for coaches at the moment. Obviously, a few coaches looking for fresh starts. Can I get a gig here or there? Talk up here in Brisbane, and I'm pretty sure it's online everywhere as well, is Paul Green really, talked about with the Broncos position maybe come to the end of the year. So just wait and see what transgresses from there.
Yeah, it's all happened. Obviously, Barrett going to the Dogs, and there's bloody people moving around all over the shop. Someone's just. Brett
McIntosh, Lolo a keeper. Yes, mate. Yes,
absolutely. Yeah, I think just a quiet week for Lolo.
23 at halftime. He's probably had a quiet 4 or 5 weeks. He's just, his run meters haven't been up to sort of that 250, 280 meters. But, mate, still the best producing back rower in the game, although Maddo's given him a real run for his money.
Well, he's the cheapest he's been all year at $630K, so if you don't have him, get him in. But just quite a few weeks as a result of
that. What else we got, mate? That's the games from last week. We move on to the games for this week. And Thursday night footy, we've got the Eels up against the Tigers. Look, a lot of superstars here back. Obviously, Mitch Moses named in the team again. We've seen Jai Field drop out. Madison comes back in after that thumb injury. Nathan Brown has been named, but there is doubt about whether he starts. Blake Ferguson comes back in on the wing as well. So very much a close to full-strength side there for the Parramatta Eels. Marana Nakora off the bench has been absolutely awesome. But, other than that, we look at the Tigers. Again, look, two really, really effective Supercoach teams here. A lot of attack. I'm just hoping that they don't turn this into a defensive game. I'm hoping the attack from both teams can really sort of step up, because if this ends up 8-6 at 80 minutes, we're not going to have too many good Supercoach scores out there.
No, I think it'll be game of the round. I reckon I couldn't see any other games out there. I think both form teams, Para will obviously be looking to bounce back after last week. It'll be interesting. Bank West has usually got a bit of points in it. Playing at Bank West, Moses is back there, so bit of a battle of the West as well. So anyone, obviously Matto back in. Most people have got him. Bit of a issue, I think, with Brooksy being named on the bench now for the Tigers. It looks like he might eat into a bit of Harry's minutes, which is a bit of a shame. He still should play 60, 65, but it's just a little bit annoying. He's obviously not a sell or anything like that. Harry Grant leading the Dally M at the moment, but hopefully it doesn't impact him too badly to the point where, he's playing only 60 minutes a week. I'm backing the Eels to bounce back after last week, but I think it'll be probably game of the round, this one. Moving on to the Friday game at 6, we've got the Cows taking on the Eagles. So, a couple of teams. Cows obviously struggling. We've got the Eagles after a big win last week. It'll be interesting to see if they can travel up north and continue the form they showed. So, for the Cows, they've got no changes last week after a decent game against the Panthers. And Fanua Blake comes back for the Eagles, which is a big in for them. He'll jump back into the starting side there. I expect the Eagles to get this one done. Still no Tommy Turbo. I think he's still might be 2 or 3 weeks away, Tommy Turbo, so a bit sooner than they first anticipated. But again, people like Marty Tapau, Jake Trbojevic still pumping out some decent points. Fanua Blake, for anyone that's held on to him. Get another good look at Dejan Arzi. So, don't know how far Morgan is away. Drinkwater's obviously going to be away for a while, but Arzi looked class on the weekend, a few of his touches there, so it'd be good to have another look at him. And, might be a few people bringing him in he might nuffed out by the end of the year, but, he had a couple of good touches on the weekend. So, and, I agree, Kando, DC could be in for a big week as well. The Friday game will be Brisbane taking on the Storm, so obviously a big match. This one for Brisbane, obviously it doesn't get any easier for them. A couple of changes there with Dearden coming into the halves. Milf to fullback. Asako's been dropped for Farnworth. Staggs comes back in. What else have we got there? Corey Oates is obviously out. They initially thought he had a compound fracture with the femur there, but as it turned out, it was just a bit of a gash. Isaac Luke's been suspended, so Corey Pakes comes into the starting side there. Often Gowie's in as well. So a few new faces in the Brisbane side there and a few changes. I don't know if that's going to be a good or a bad thing for them up against Melbourne. Melbourne could put another cricket score on them, possibly, depending on the combinations.
When was the last time that a team scored 100 in 2 games and a team lost by 100 in 2 games?
Yeah,
in
look,
a row at the same time.
I think about the the edge combinations. You've put Farnworth on the wing now. Staggs is fresh. He's been away. Boyd's been a terrible defender all year. You're now chucking Offengawi back into the back row. Pangai Jr. is now back into the back row after playing in the middle for the last couple of weeks. So they're probably going to be vulnerable on the edges. But Melbourne are, one of the best in the comp at exploiting up the guts with Cam Smith. So your Pappenhausens, your Munsters, your Smiths, obviously, are big buys this week. I think a lot of people still not on Munster yet, and Smith, plenty of people looking at him with Coruscant out. But I still think those guys are massive ins because I'll be surprised if Brisbane can keep them under 13. In this one, I expect Brisbane could run all over them just because it's so many new combinations out there for Brisbane. I'll be surprised if they keep it tight. Thoughts on this one, King?
I like the look of the Broncos squad a lot more than the past few weeks. I prefer Milford there at the back. I don't mind Dearden, but again, that's sort of very inexperienced 6 and 7. It's like you say, mate. The Storm are going to probably have too much class for them, but I'd like to think we see an improved show from the Broncos anyway. I'm sure.
And what happens if Milford?
They can't get any worse.
If this Milford experiment at 1 doesn't work, I'm imagining he's going to be getting rained on with bombs all night. I'd be surprised if that isn't the case. What happened? They've just moved the problem instead of the 6. He's now in the back, so it's an interesting one.
I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think it's not so much an experiment as he's played there before. You know what I mean? So as long as he gets his time this week under the high ball in training and things like that. You don't see too many high balls in the game anymore. I don't know. It just doesn't seem as much a big thing as it used to be. Plus, if Melbourne are scoring all their tries by going through them or around them, they won't have to kick the ball. So, yeah. One thing I do want to ask is Xavier Coates, right? Came onto the scene there last year, played a game against Cronulla, scored 2 tries, and I think in the opening round this year or whenever he played his first game, again, he scored one or two tries from the high ball.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't watched much of the Brisbane games lately because they've been so shit, but have they been trying to kick for him?
Not really. Not like they did. I think in the first game he played against Manly, they put a couple kicks up for him and he scored off one of them and might have created a try or something off another one. But his tries, they've just had a bit of a sweeping play where that Niu, I don't even know how you say his name, just swings out the back. And it's just been like that. They haven't been kicking for him, I don't reckon. Not like they were originally. So I don't know why, because it looks like they're only attacking play for a while there. But he's awesome in the air. He actually looks pretty good. But no, they haven't done it.
I'm actually thinking I might go past Red Hill where they train. I might be able to get a call up this week. I'd be a chance for the bench spot. Can't do any worse. Jesus.
After they got drubbed 48-0 last week, anything less than that's an improvement for them. But, you look at their next, if Seabold's got to produce a 50% in the next 10 weeks, they got Melbourne in there, Canberra, Roosters, Panthers, Para. There's 5 that I can't see.
It ain't happening, yeah.
So they have to beat Cronulla, They have to beat South, they have to beat St. George, Titans and Cows, have to beat them. And, Sharks and South won't be walkovers. So I think they could be in for a bit of strife. If they cop a toweling this week, it could be based on what I've seen already, they don't look like they want to be out there. It's weird.
Yeah,
Don't bully.
No bullying, yeah. I can't see Seabold lasting the end of the season, that's for sure.
No.
What do we got? First game on the Saturday?
Central Coast, the Warriors up against the Chooks, mate. Could be another cricket score.
Cricket score, yeah, absolutely. Captain choice, mate. Do we just go Teddy?
Oh, unless there's any rain around, that'd be the only reason why you wouldn't do it. Some reason it's wet.
Yep.
I think we talked about, there might be this now. You've got 3 or 4 players different in captain choices, but you'd be putting yourself out on a limb to not go Teddy again. For me, I'll just keep leaving him as captain for the next 3 weeks. But yeah, I think you have to. He's too involved, and the Warriors have just looked so ordinary the last week against your blokes. So no Crichton, mate. That's a big out for people. He looks like he's going to be out for 2 to 3 weeks at least. So that hurts a few people there. Tavanga promoted to the starting side, so that's good. I think he might stay there in the middle too. So Tohu might actually stay out on his edge. But these Warriors boys, with a few of the guys leaving, like Malmelo and Foots-Tua, they might be just sort of putting their cue in the rack. The poor buggers copping a few hidings. Might make it pretty tough for them. It's sort of shit to see given everything they've done, but it's good for Supercoach.
Absolutely. 5:00 game on the Saturday, mate, and we go over to my boys against the Dragons. 2 pretty straightforward teams there from last week. Cronulla have had a couple of injuries that have come up. We see Toby Rudolph starting in the 13. Siosifa Talakai, the bloody bulldozer, he gets a spot in the 11 for Britton Nakora, who is suspended. Tarek Sims gets dropped, and Fui Maoni gets to try and improve on his 10 AE that everyone had last week from the starting spot. But again, mate, we see Cam McInnes in the 13, Benny Hunt in the 9.
Yeah, hopefully it's just a tight one and he plays out the game. If the Dragons are starved of a bit of ball, he should make 50, 60 tackles at least, which is good. I'm probably the number one fan of the Talakai club. I reckon he's an absolute ripper. I reckon
he looks good, doesn't he? Yeah.
He reminds me of a bloody what was his name? Played for the Tigers, but he was a winger. Taniela Tuiaki or whatever his name was.
Taniela Tuiaki, yeah.
And Matt Utah, he's just built like a brick shithouse, but he's only about 4.5 foot tall. But he gets a chance. Supercoach-wise, he's probably not going to be too relevant. Nakora only missing a game, but I reckon good things come from him in the next few years, bud. But possibly...
Mate, young back row for the Sharkies there, debuting Teague Wilton. So we'll see him maybe get a few minutes this weekend. Probably not too, relevant given that Sorensen's only out for a little while. The injuries or concerns there for Cronulla on the back road aren't too deep, but it'll give us a chance to see him maybe for years to come.
Yeah, I've not heard anything of Tees. Have you seen much of him?
Oh, mate, look, a little bit here and there, 20s through in the Canterbury Cup. Mate, pretty straightforward back rower, nothing to get too excited about. So unless he can sort of, turn it on this weekend, we might see him in another year or two.
Yeah, I think Supercoach-wise, if it's a dry track, there could be some points in it. The Dragons have been pretty good. It could actually be a decent game there. You know, Aiken's been back. Lomax has been good. Duffy's been awesome. Norman and Clune have been reasonable. So hopefully it's a dry track and there's some points in this one for the old Sutherland Shire Derby.
Absolutely. Be interesting to see Zach Lomax on Josh Dugan. Those two match up against each other in the centres. Obviously, Zach Lomax has been awesome, and Dugan, definitely. The older he's gotten, the better defensive centre he's been. Probably one of the best in the game. So, it'd be good to see those two up against each other. See what the young fella can do against the veteran.
Yeah, absolutely.
And 7:30 game on the Saturday night, mate. Who we got? Oh, Raiders up against the Bunnies. So, be a good one. This one, Raiders trying to mirror what they did last week against a top 8 team. With how big and deep the injury list is. They'll be looking to see what they can do against the Bunnies. Bogan, what are your thoughts on this one, mate?
I think we're fucked. I think...
such confidence out of their fanfare.
Oh, well, there's fucking talk about Bateman being back this week.
Oh, yeah, he got named in 21, jersey number 21, I think it was. So, we'll see. If I was John Bateman and all the talk that's gone on and going back to Wigan, I wouldn't be playing another game. I'd be just getting my check each week and going home as soon as I got the chance.
Raiders are going to be full of confidence after beating the Roosters. The Rabbitohs are hot and cold. It's going to be fucking freezing at Bruce in the fucking end of July. I think they're fucked. This one.
Yeah, I don't know about this one. I reckon it could be it could be a bit of an ambush by South. I still think that, as well as they went last week, the Canberra pack, it's still pretty inexperienced apart from Papali, really, and even the bench. I reckon, possibly Cookie has a field day out of here, but we'll see what happens. It should be a good game. It will be absolutely fucking freezing, Bogan. So, plenty of Supercoach prospects in it, as always, with Murray, Cookie. Cody Walker's probably been under the radar, mate, still, but probably can't pick.
Yeah, 500k.
Guys like Cleary and Jess James Munster, he's probably gone pretty well under the radar, but you could be looking at it. Maybe.
He hasn't had his 150 game yet this year, mate.
Yeah, and I haven't fucking talked about bringing him in and didn't. Rapana named at centre, so a few changes there, but nothing crazy. Roberts out for the season as well, so this Jackson Paulo on the wing could end up being a decent cheapie as well. He actually looked pretty good. His base wasn't too bad, and he put in a kick that led to one of Cookie's tries that he took off Walker. I think Jackson Paulo's a decent little cheapie for people that might be trying to get off, whether it's Willie Army or Fuimona or whoever, in the next week or two. So maybe keep an eye on him, because even once Latrell's back, I think Corey Allen probably should drop off that wing and Paulo should keep his spot. I hope better. So. If he's not, he's doing something wrong. So
he's atrocious, Corey Allen. He really is. He's just not a good footballer. Even the blokes like Jared Beale, Blake Ashford, John O'Wright, all these guys that were useless come the end of the career, they started off their careers better than this fucking kid did. So he is dead set the next Scott Minto. He's better than that. Fuck.
Well, you know what's funny? During the week, I saw something on Harry Grant, and his old coach was Scott Minto, and here's Scott Minto talking about why Grant's such a great player. I thought it was quite funny. Jack John's on the bench for the South, mate. Rugby league royalty there. So
big, tall second rower.
Yep. But yeah. Anyway, I don't know. On Sirinen gets to start another rugby league, probably royalty, second generation there. So it's all happening.
Exactly right. 2:00 game on the Sunday.
Yeah, our boys taking on the Dogs. I hope we just get the job done. I think Ponga a massive buy. Obviously, he bounced back last week. Joshy, after a couple of big drops. So plenty of people looking at Ponga now. He's pretty much bottomed out at just over 500k, and a break even just around 60. Playing the Dogs, he could be up for 100 plus. Possibly a bit of a pod captain with everyone looking at Teddy and Cam Smith or Munster, whoever. But we do play Melbourne the week after that, and then the Tigers. So a couple of tougher games coming up after that. Best as well. Everyone that stuck with them. So that was pretty good, mate. Dog side of things, what do you think of Thompson? You had much of a look at him?
Oh, look, I had a bit of a look at him last week. Didn't really impress me that much, to be honest, mate. For someone who's talked about to be the best prop in the game and this and that, I think he's more than adequate, and I think he's a good player. But to put him in that very, very top echelon, I don't think he's there. But at 450k, I think he's probably a good pickup in draft, and that's about it.
Yeah, I think it just doesn't seem to be too much extra to his game. Like he probably has a good base output. He make the tackles, take the runs, but he doesn't have an offload. To me, he doesn't look like he's got, he's going to have too much threat in attack. So if he's only playing, unless he starts playing 80 minutes, which he might have the engine to play the 80, but the last 2 weeks he only played that 60 to 65. If he keeps only playing those minutes, he might not be as awesome as it seems. But if you see his minutes increase, maybe if he's could come on the radar. But what Gomez has said, he's only averaged 40 in Super League, so yeah, he could end up being a bit of a false hope there. And like you said, just probably a draft buy. With Daniel Safidi out, I think Jacob was a bit disappointing on the weekend. I expected him to do a bit better than he did, mate. But I think I'm sticking with him. I think he should still have some good weeks. He only played 40 minutes on the weekend, which was lower than he's played at other times throughout the season. But I'm sticking with him. I still think he'll make some good cash.
You guys got a fair bit of value out of your bench there with obviously Watson played a good amount of minutes there last week for considering the kind of player he's coming off the bench. Barnett looked good. Obviously his first game back there for a little while, he looked hungry. So and that Saulo didn't look too bad either. So mate, some good signs there for the Knights that obviously when you do get that forward rotation going off, there's guys on the bench there that can pick it up for the team.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping we just can put these boys to the sword, which really should. I don't want to understate it or write the Dogs off, but if we're serious, that we should be going on with this one. So,
Luke,
we'll see.
Gomez about Luke. What's his name? Luke Thompson. He has that Liam Knight about him. I don't think he's not that bad. He's not on the list yet, anyway. I don't think people are talking him up to be the next Messiah like they fucking were Liam Knight at the start of the year. So Tommy Saxon can eat a dick there, but we'll give him a little bit more credit than Liam Knight, that's for sure.
Mate, we finish it off on the Sunday.
Absolutely, the boys there supporting that comment. Yeah,
he'll take that. I think it was Sione's edge back row spot out there, but then Guerra's taken it now. Sione's, but it's Barnett's. Once he's got a bit of that fitness back, it'll be Barnett's back playing 80, 100%. And he did look really good.
Guerra will be back to the bench.
Yeah.
SA looks hungry too.
Yeah, he's going well. I mean,
he's inconsistent, but he just has those patches of 5 or 10 minutes in a game where he just wants to tear blokes' heads off, and he looks good.
His PPM's decent. He just doesn't get the minutes, which is a shame. When we signed him, he looked awesome, and I was hoping. I think he had some issues there. His old man got crook and this and that, so it was a bit of a shame there. He never really got going, but he's off to the Titans next year, so he's a bit of a loss in the middle for us there. But He's a bit awkward at the moment. He's 400k. He's only playing 40 to 50 minutes. It's all over the shop. So I agree. He's a good impact from just a footy perspective. But unfortunately, bloody Supercoach-wise, he never came to fruition like I was hoping he would have.
Yeah.
And then we rounded out with the Titans and the Panthers up at Seabus up on the Gold Coast. So if you thought Panthers struggled last week with a few outs, like you mentioned, Joshy, no Edwards, no Coruscant, this could be a challenge for them. Shano, I reckon they're in trouble, mate.
I wouldn't go that far to say they're in trouble, but look, they've definitely got class on across the park still with the Panthers. My biggest concern is Mitch Kenny there at the 9 and the service that the rest of the team are going to get there from him over what Appy would normally do. So he'll probably prove me wrong, come out, have an absolute blinder, and the Panthers win by 60.
I think it just becomes Cleary gets a lot more ball in his hands. But anyone with still guys like Naden, Crichton, Mansour. Obviously, Naden moves into the centres now with Vare out and MWZ on the wing. Might be a bit hard, but they just look so dangerous every time that in their attack. So I don't think you can go wrong with either of those guys. Naden looks really good.
Mate, MWZ looks like the coolest motherfucker I've ever known. Like, he's got that something about him. He just looks like a wicked dude.
He's got he's got the watch. They got a watch thing as well, him and his brother. I think they do some watches. I follow him on Facebook.
Right.
Luai, mate, looks like he's going to, anyone that started with Luai, he's going to end up being an awesome cow. He's 450k this week. A break even of 44 or 45, mid 40s. So, with Mitch Moses back with a big break even, you could possibly, depending on how Luai goes this week, Panthers have got a decent draw, but, Luai...
Pretty sure he can go a straight swap.
Well, you might even make 50 grand on it next week if Luai has a decent game. So Luai's ended up being the awesome one. He'll make over 200k, assuming he hits his break, just over his break even this weekend, which he should. There's an argument to say that you could probably keep him for a little while given the Panthers run, but that's going to be awesome as a Luai owner. So he's done a good job. Kikau, I reckon Kikau's a sneaky this weekend. He probably won't do much anything else, but looking at him this week for some reason, he's on the list. Yeah. So hopefully, this is one of those ones where it's like it's obvious to try and go the Panthers players like it was last week, but I don't know. Hopefully they just keep pouring the points on the Penrith side because I got about 4 or 5 of them, I reckon. Got Mansour, Cleary,
I'm up to
Yo.
6.
I had Coruscant, so got heaps of them. And on the Titans side of the field, mate, Supercoach, there's not much doing. Jai Arrow's absolutely plummeting. He's already thinking about Redfern, the red light district out there.
Has Fotuaika held his form?
No, I think he's even been a bit quiet, mate, to be honest. In a well-beaten side, I think it's hard for him to stay up when they're constantly copping a hiding. What's he got? His minutes was pretty similar to most of what he's been doing all year, and he only got 38 points last week. He hasn't been too bad, to be fair. He's still, his average is still not bad, but, he's not pumping out the 70s, 60-plus 70s that you might have thought he would have been doing based on earlier in the year. So, been a bit quieter in the last month.
Yeah, no, fair call. What do we got after that, mate? Trades for this week.
Look.
Where's our intro gone, Bo?
I accidentally deleted the intro. I will put it back in next week.
I like the future.
I agree, Gomez. I was actually thinking that. Have you seen Arrow's misses, boys?
No.
Oh, she's about a 35 out of 10.
Yeah. Well, he is a contestant. So.
What's the other one that's up here? His mate, Jared Wallace. He's married to that Courtney. I don't know. Another one of these supermodels from the past 5 years. I can't remember. And the two birds are the best friends as well. So
those
mate,
blokes, look at Dry Arrow's haircut. Must be hung like a donkey.
why they don't.
Holy
That's why
dooly.
they don't want to leave the Gold Coast. I can fucking tell you.
I wouldn't
You've
either.
got late mail.
I wouldn't either. Have a go there.
Jesus.
Do yourself a favour and Google Dry Arrow's missus. What do you reckon? Who's the other one? Wallace.
Yeah, what's her name? Courtney. Maybe it's not Courtney.
Hang on, is it his wife?
Yeah, they're married
not
now.
doing too bad. Jesus, throwing massive Marins, Climmy. They're both throwing some absolute enormous haymakers. They're throwing Mike Tyson knockout punches, these blokes.
So back when
Holy
Jennifer
dooly.
Hawkins came about 10 years ago, this other Courtney one was the other one who was like in the Miss Worlds and stuff with her. I can't remember her name before she became Wallace. But anyway, absolute stunners, mate.
Holy dooly. Throwing some Newton.
We'll see you next week when Brent and Josh are here rating fucking supermodels instead of football players.
That could be the spin-off.
I tell you what. Let's do it. That's how they created Facebook.
What are they called? Wags. Oh, sorry, we're talking about trades. Well, this was before I heard about Coruscant being out.
So Brent is trading Cam Munster's missus for Jake.
Look, these are. I didn't.
I think the door's closed. I tell you what. I'll trade my missus for fucking one of them. Well,
holy dooly, mate. They're quality. The things I do. I don't know what I'm doing this week. With Coruscant being out, I'm in all sorts. Ramian's been decent. He's a pretty decent pod, but he just has that 30 in him. It's just going to hurt at the back end of the year, so I'm thinking about getting off him. Maybe I keep him an extra week playing St. George, but I'm all over the shop. I thought Munster, but now with Coro out, could be looking at Smith, could be looking at, I don't even know. I've got Cam McInnes, so I can bring in back rowers. I can bring in duality everywhere. So I've got actually no idea now. I'm going to have to spend the next couple of days having a crack, mate. I liked the idea of Paulo or Arzi. I think they'll nuff out, even if they might play in the next few weeks and they possibly nuff out. It doesn't bother me. Leaning more towards Paulo because I think he's got a bit more security with Roberts being out. But who knows? Allen could end up getting the spot. But yeah, take these with a grain of salt. I've got no idea at the moment. You?
Yes. Mate, look, I've got so many guys I want to try and get in my side. I think I spoke to I sent Bogues these two trades earlier in the week. Obviously, we spoke about Kenny Bromwich a little bit earlier in the team list, but I've decided to change this, and rather than get Munster in, I'm going to go Cam Smith now that Appy's out. So, going to dump Appy, going to dump Angus Crichton, and I'm going to get in Cam Smith and Cam Murray in the second row. I think South's got a pretty easy run of the next 4 weeks. And obviously, if Cookie goes well, be a little bit of a surprise not to have Cookie and Cam Murray, but I'm going to go Smith instead. I just reckon Cam Murray can get a few good games on the board. Like you say, 73 there last week. Not really an attacking stat in Cooey, so let's go with that one. But yeah, mate, I'd love to get Munster in. Like you say, Ponga's bottomed out. I've got Asako sitting there at fullback, which is an A nightmare for me at the moment. Luai could go to Munster. So many different ways I sort of want to shore up my team. So, look, I might go Smith and Murray this week. Next week, if Luai can make a little bit more cash or at least make his break even, I might nuff down a Toby Rudolph or a Flegler and bring in Munster next week then.
Mate, solid. I think Bromwell's a bit of pot action there, but do you reckon you'll just you'll hold Luai because I think he peaks next week?
Mate, this is probably my biggest
Titans
concern
this week as well. Like maybe pumps out. Munster could pump out. That's the problem.
That's again. It just comes back to I just got a feeling that Penrith, while I think they'll win, just won't be that impressive again this week. I think what we saw against the Cowboys last week, they'll do again. I'm not too sure he actually makes his break even, Luai. I know you mentioned it was about that 44-45. I was thinking he might be sub 40 this week just because I just think that the Penrith have lost that fluency with their play. I really would have actually preferred to see maybe them bring in Matt Burton and play Luai at dummy half than Mitch Kenny. But, yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's a hard one because I think Munster's long-term, so is Smith. But, the idea of going Luai to Moses because Pat Parabo got a good run next week and even making money off that trade's hard to get off Luai this week, even though it's really tempting because he's a good chunk of money sitting there. But just because of the draw and everything like that, it's hard. But, I don't know, mate. I mean, all sorts. I don't know who I need more. Do I need Cook? Do I need Smith? Do I need Munster? Got options. So maybe just look for one of those pods. Might just try and bring in half the Roosters team because they got a good draw. I was talking about Friend. Everyone can feed me about Friendy, but get on Friend for Coro. This ultimate. Fucking, I don't know. Nah. All right.
Hey, Friend, look, I'm still
looking up Jared.
I just think
Courtney Thorpe.
That's her. Yes, that's the one.
How's this one?
Absolutely
Footy fan slam for Vol comment about Jared Wallace is the man behind the Facebook account that said he would give a left nut for a taste of, it's all happening.
I tell you what, have a look at this one on Instagram, boys. Ellie Gonsalves. So, jump on the Instagram of her. Ellie, we're taking this somewhere else this week, Bogan. This is a.
I'm just more concerned about the segment we've got lined up next. How that flows into this.
Ellie Gonsalves. This is a client of mine at BMW, right?
Fucking doxing your clients, mate.
Absolutely. She'll love it. She's got fucking 2.5 million followers on Instagram or something. Dead set. She walked in the first day, and I couldn't get my jaw off the floor. Wow. But she's a pretty cool bird as well. Her bloke Ross, he's an absolute legend. So yeah, really, really good couple. But check her out on the Insta because she is absolutely smoking. Pimp my team. Whose team are we pimping, mate?
We're pimping Benny from the chat.
Benny.
What does that say there?
He sent me
Benny G.
I can't read behind
my
that.
team candidate made for this week. Thinking drop Bailey and Kennedy and move Yao and the centre and grab Enough and Cameron Smith.
All right, so where's the team?
I will bring up their team.
How has anyone still got Brayley?
Well, he's fucking absolutely flying at the moment. He's probably peaked now. That's a genius move. 450k. I can't see anything. Can we see anything?
Who's 450k?
Brayley.
Has Brayley made 450k?
Well, he's gone 86,
he's up to 400.
86, 67, 86, 63, 25 in the last month. So he's 450k with a 70-something break even.
75.
I'd forgotten about him completely. Mate, he's an absolute sell. Break even of 70 odd. Whatever you can do to get CS9 in. Who else did he want enough? Who else did he want to drop?
You could go JTB. You could JTB to Nuff.
Hang on.
And then Brayley to...
Let me bring up his...
Brayley has been good.
He's
had some attacking stats in him.
Bogan, you haven't got the prices there on the screen. You got some...
Is Benny in the... Is he in one of the leagues? Benny's in one of the leagues?
No,
Benny's in the chat.
No, but is he in... Can I look at his team
and
in one of the leagues?
It's a different Benny.
Not Benny G.
Benny?
It's Ben
Is this
G.
you? Yeah, it's
Benny
Ben
G.
G. Benny... Oh, we can't say his name live on air. People might follow him on Instagram.
JTB, yeah, I reckon JTB to enough, and then if you got some cash, go Brayley
Yeah,
to.
he's got.
It just depends how big the
He's
gap.
got about 30 grand.
You might. How much you need to go? You need 200k to go. Brayley to Smith. I'd go JDB to Nuff, Brayley to Smith for sure. If you can get it.
Do you take a chance on that JTB? Has he got anyone he can put in front row?
Is it Rudolph? Does he have Rudolph in the front there?
He's got Rudolph, but he's got no jewels other than Carrigan. I was thinking there's that Adam Davey. What price that Adam Davey?
I think he's second row though. He's bottom dollar, but he's only second row. I reckon you could Nuff, because if you need to, you could just trade out. You know, if something happens to Carrigan or Haas or whatever.
What centre winger did he talk about Nuffing?
Will Kennedy, your boy.
What price is he?
No idea. I'm trying to look at his team. He must be in the group or something.
He's in the group.
What's your team? What's the team?
Yeah. Big dicks.
Hindmarsh's flop.
Big dicks. Big dick 69. Hindmarsh's flop. All right, let's have a look here. What's he got? So Will Kennedy's 371k with a 19 break even. So you probably hold him at fullback this week.
You probably hold him, yeah. Hold him against the Dragons. He could score a few. Yeah, I reckon Nuff, like you're saying, mate. Tanil Brown. How have you got Ryan Hall? How have you got Drinkwater? What the fuck?
He's got everyone.
Doing,
He's got so many bloody blokes who could Nuff out.
I'm surprised you don't have Ben Hampton. What the fuck is this team?
You got Drinkwater to Arzi, the Arcy or whatever his name is. He's only centre. He's only a centre. You can't do that.
Yeah.
You could go Hall to Arzi or Hall to Paulo, that Jackson Paulo.
What price is Hall?
328. Which
I don't think it gets
JTB.
him enough cash to get.
Well, JTB is a similar price. If he's got 100 and what's he got in the bank? 30k.
Yeah.
So if you go JTB to enough, there's 160k plus your 30k. You might just get to Smith from Brayley.
Yeah,
possibly. Cando's still got Joshy. Hampton.
Fucking
I reckon you got plenty of options there. I reckon Drinky, Hall, Drinkwater especially. Yeah. Oh, he's got Butcher. This team's great. He's top 1,000. Hey, this is a bloody.
I told him.
This is a flex.
Yeah.
1350 last week.
Team doesn't need pimping. It's a fucking brag. He's sitting in the top 10 of in the top 20 of the fucking group.
He does have Dylan Edwards at the back.
I think that was his pod move. I think that was his pod move until Edwards got injured.
You got options, mate. That's a good thing. That's looking good. You got farm cows everywhere.
I disagree. I reckon it's shit house.
Who's
I don't know.
Nofo, Crichton, Best.
Actually,
he's fourth centre wingers a choice each week.
So you've got 5'8", you got Luai starting. I think that's probably your weakest point there. So, mate, can you get Drinkwater to Munster rather than Cam Smith this week? Can you go Drinkwater to Munster and instead of the Cam Smith? I don't know. Again, it's similar to me where I've sort of got those 2 or 3 players that I want to get in, and it's just a matter of which one do you do first.
I think with Edwards and you got Drinkwater, you can swap the fullback. You could get off Edwards. I don't know how long Edwards' hamstring's out for, but anyway, good luck, Benny. I reckon you're flying, mate.
Munster could go 150 this week, mate. Smith could go 70. Never know. Anyway, solid enough. He's above us in the friggin' overall standings.
He's 835.
What do you listen to us for? Solid.
Crichton. He's got Crichton too. You could sell Crichton. I don't know. Anyway.
Player of the week this week, top of the group scoring was Heath with Wildside. He scored 1,517.
Very solid. Is Brad not in our group?
He mustn't be the stinker.
What a prick.
Fucking, I think we'd give it to him, but he probably doesn't like it.
What did he score? Yeah, we would give it to him.
15.
What did he score? 15,
I think he scored 1550 something. He come up equal 11th overall.
Oh, he really would have topped the group.
Yeah, well, fuck him.
Yeah.
The group standings
well done,
at
Heath.
the moment. So we got Huncho.
63 overall. Flying.
Devious Devastation, he's up there every week. And Lisa with the Tigress sitting in 7th overall in the group there, kicking all our asses in the BJ game day.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Absolutely massive. Plenty embedded in the top 1,000 and top 500 even. More people in the top 500 than there is between 500 to 1,000. Awesome stuff.
Yeah, flying. Very good.
Kando still out of the top K. Suck shit, Kando. I hope there's a COVID shutdown and you stay there.
Top scorer in the BJ game day league this week was Leanne with Fire and Ice with 14-17, followed by before mentioned Kane Anderson.
She's a season 1 player, so she's been with us right from the start. Leanne with Fire and Ice. I
thought that was Paulie's missus, Joshy, with the Fire and Ice reference there behind the bar at the German club.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, gotcha. There's some good drinks there.
Anyway, good stuff.
Nah, she hasn't got a clue about football.
Kando's been copying my team, obviously. Both scored 13.53 this week. Making it more like mine, Kando.
Hold it there, Bo. So we got... he's a few hundred points in front of us too. We've got to do well to catch him. So I'm 11,593. Bogan 80 points behind. Hampton only another 20 behind that. She's pretty tight.
We're going. I'm fucking 12th in that league overall. I'm getting pumped.
Yeah, we might just.
I haven't checked any of the head-to-head.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, do it, Teddy. Teddy's gone. Where's our boy? Where's Teddy gone?
He watches us on the way to work tomorrow.
He's in New Zealand. I don't know what the time difference is over there.
He had a whinge this week on the Facebook chat. Said he'd had enough. He was giving it away because I don't know, someone went shit house or whatever. But
it's because he's had Milford all year.
Well,
he keeps persisting with Milford.
Yeah, that's enough to want to make you get rid of yourself. But anyway,
Shano with the Footsters, popped the BJ all in.
Oh, this is Shano's second team.
No, it's not his second team.
It's his family team. It's his team.
It's
his family
brothers,
team.
dogs, fish feeders, cousins, sheep shearers, uncle's brother.
Yeah.
His team.
What's he scored? 1,400 and something.
That's not bad, though. There's no consequence. I'm not paying it, Shano. There's no consequence. There's no risk. You just throw in caution. Oh, yeah, don't have him. Chuck him in there. No, chuck him in here. No, doesn't count.
Yeah.
What do we got next after that?
Because he topped that league, he also he snuck into the version 2.
He's into him. Yeah, of course he's into him. He loves it. Shano loves a bit of Supercoach. Did those shot chips come along, Shano? He's probably had a couple already. Actually, no, we would have got
for fun.
We would have got the video through if he'd had a couple. And then what else we got, mate? The draft league.
The draft results this week. We'll just move on from this quickly.
Yes, look at that.
Hey.
It's something with the app because you got Tinny, Josh, and Nick Meaney.
What do you mean?
Updates into your team because you had no other fucking emergencies left. You actually scored over 800 and beat me.
Yeah, you've taken an early screenshot.
But for some reason, when it was updating, when I was taking the screenshot...
he's taking a screenshot at bloody 4:01 on Sunday.
You've taken the glory. You've taken the glory away from me.
Look at him on the thing. It looks like Bogan's had the win.
I didn't notice that. But for some reason, with the way that half your team's fucking injured,
I even subbed in the superstar Bronson Sherry to to make sure that they wouldn't play. I didn't know who was playing for Cronulla. So I brought in Bronson Sherry just so I'd get Meany's points, mate. I knew that'd get me the win, see? So
that's a tactical one there. You take your AE and put the nail in the coffin. Bogan, the crack's beginning to show, mate.
Yeah, it's a 14-player game, mate, not a 13-player draft.
Oh, fuck off! It's a 17-player game. How about you get some blokes who are fucking playing? Why don't you have a sub that's worth 10 like I fucking had?
Oh dear.
There you go.
So how do we know that any of these results are right? You've just lost all credibility, mate.
Well, it's the fucking.
There needs to be an investigation.
Blame the fucking webmaster of the Supercoach site. So the screenshots were taken last night. So
like Bundy's beat Wayno by 1 point. How can we?
We'll check it on the fucking app.
Yeah, he's like, I've gotten Joshy here. How good's this? Let's take a screenshot and chuck it up.
We can see this, mate, but our followers, our loyal followers out there in BJ and Game Day land, they can't.
We've already lost 10 fucking viewers. We lose most of the audience as soon as we go into the leagues because there's only fucking 30 people in the leagues.
We're at 10:40. We're going an hour and 40 minutes already, so we're doing well.
Anyways, it's the standings. That fucking gap between me and Kane Anderson, I don't like how fucking close that's getting.
Top 5 finals, it's still a bit of a bottleneck there. Anyone?
Okay, so I'm hanging out there somewhere.
You're sitting at 6th.
Where are you? We're back to back there, 5th and 6th.
How good's the break evens? The points difference on us? Jesus.
Points difference?
Minus 160 or minus 360.
How's Bogan? He's never played anyone who scored any points. Points against 6,811.
It's because he's the best.
No wonder you're on top, Bogan. Everyone, you picked the right way to play each other.
That's the analysis that matters.
All right.
You can see who's been the stiffest. He has scored
correct.
more points than anyone else, though.
Oh, there we go. Have a look at it. Who's been the stiffest? Psycho Circus, the highest score against 7,391. There you go. That's who's been the stiffest.
Well, I'm the fucking second stiffest.
Oh, fuck.
See?
I can bring it back up.
See?
You've had nearly 500 points less than me and 600
I'm still looking at the screen here.
Absolute bullshit.
That's bloody joke. All right, who we got this week? Phantom up against Mana. Bogan up against Marty. Yeah, Marty will give you 2 on the trot. He'll destroy you. Kando and Teddy. Oh, that'll be a good one. That'll get the chat going this weekend. If Teddy's not in a mood. Wayno and me. And Bundy and the big Ginge. So, there we go. Is that it for another week?
I believe it is, unless you want to field some questions from the chat.
No.
I don't know. They need a Bogan rant.
Bogan.
Bogan's rant. What do you got for us, Bogan?
I got nothing this week.
Oh, boys.
This fucking, of all teams to fucking lose to, like, yeah.
No, you lost to the best, mate. You lost to the best.
All right. They'll come good, although they won't. As I said, they're doing a North Sydney, leading early, and they'll turn to shit at the end of the season. So,
all right, guys. Actually, I do want to say one thing. Obviously, we have a bit of a joke. Let's take it to a serious note for about the next 30 seconds.
I might have a rant after this.
No. We do have a joke. We have a bit of a laugh and things like that, and things you get said in the show. I'm as much as I love my NRL, I'm a big AFL fan as well, and I have done for years, Richmond Tigers. Obviously, Shane Tuck there yesterday, Tigers player for a long, long time, passed away. And obviously you do get it from all the news reports that it probably was a suicide thing. So, guys and girls, we follow you. You guys follow us each week. Ever doing it tough, ever want anyone to talk to, guys, we're on all the messages. Send us a message. we'll talk anytime we can, everything like that. But always a good thing to speak up, guys, if anything's going wrong. Plenty of problems out there. They may be small for other people, but they may be huge for you. So, if we can help at any stage, just give us a bell.
Yeah, and if you are thinking about going down that path, don't do yourself in. There's plenty of things out there. There's footy, movies, and video games that you won't get to see if you fucking check out early. So
absolutely.
Use the services that are available. Reach out and it's
sorry to hear,
sad.
Benny.
It happens. Seems to be happening way too much, especially at the moment. People are under pressure. People got work problems. So just fucking hang in there, because time will do you in eventually. So you may as well just stop and smell the flowers.
Exactly.
It's getting too much. Well, that fucking way to bring the mood down, Josh.
There you go. All right, guys. We'll catch you all next week. Cheers, boys.
I better fucking do the transition. See you later.
Hey guys, Joshy here. Thanks very much for joining us for another episode of BJ on Game Day. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, hit the bell on YouTube for all your notifications. If you do want to follow us on Facebook, you can find us there at BJ on Game Day, and on Twitter we're at BJ on Game Day as well. So guys, we'd really like your support with that. Follow us so we can know you guys are enjoying the content. Thanks very much.